the 2023 JuniorGP World Championship. The Finetwork FIM JuniorGP World Championship is in its penultimate round, which means, by definition alone, titles are on the line. The first one up is the Moto2 European Championship. Senna Aegis looking to convert pole position. But this is the longest track on the calendar. Aragon at 5.1 kilometers in length is tight, technical, fast and flowing. It's a circuit that has it all. 10 left turns, 7 right turns, and a lot of passing opportunities. 15 laps to sort it out. Who will be on top come the end of it? As you can see, the clouds are overhead here at MotorLand Aragon. The penultimate round of the season is absolutely upon us. We had sunny weather yesterday. It was baking hot down on the track, and the action itself wasn't too far away either. Today is a different story. Fog welcomed us as we arrived to the track, and thus we have had a couple of rescheduling things to get through. We'll talk to you that later if it doesn't affect the Moto2 class as such. I'm Kiko Giles, alongside me this time Tristan Finocchiari. You'll be familiar with him, of course. He brought you through the live coverage last time out. Tristan, for us it's our first time doing this, and I think we're in for a great day. Titles on the line everywhere you look, and it's going to be a good one.
Yes, mate, absolute pleasure to be alongside you this weekend in the commentary box. As you said this morning, we did see quite a bit of fog, which has delayed track action just a little bit. We couldn't see a thing coming up to the circuit, driving our way onto the circuit. Almost missed our exits on a lot of points. But it's cleared very, very quickly. We were having a little look from the commentary box. We saw all the fog. We went and had a little walk down pit lane. And in that 10-minute walk down pit lane, it cleared completely. Here's a little look at what happened last time out then at Barcelona for the Moto2 category. They were away and it was a decent start for Cardelus as he led the way, but the number 31 of Rato was putting himself in the mix as well. Roberto Garcia fighting his way through as Cardelus was making some strong moves on the brakes down into turn 1. The battles raged on all the way through the race with Senna Aegis absent due to injury. Xavi Cardelus took the first victory in race 1, and then they were arrayed for race 2, and it was just as hectic. Antonelli got a good start but then dropped down the order. Alberto Sora on the number 67, keep an eye out for him today. And then number 72 of Ruiz went down and took Garcia with him. Those two were exchanging paintwork earlier on in the race as well. Unai Aradre was charging through the field on the number 10 as well. So keep an eye out for him today. He carved his way through on Garcia and then took the victory ahead of Sora, with Cardelus rounding out the podium. He wanted to take 2 victories from 2, but it wasn't meant to be last time out. This weekend, though, very different story, Kiko. Senna's back, and he's got an opportunity to wrap up the championship.
He does. He can't do it in the first race. We'll get through all the permutations when we're on the grid, but he can't do it in the first race. He can only do it if results go his way in the second race. If misfortune was to befall the Australian, then if Xavi Cardelus was in position to take over the championship lead, then he could be crowned champion at the end of today, because there's 3 races left, 2 of them of which are here at Aragon. The last one is in Valencia, so plenty to look out for in Moto2 as always. We're going to get through the grid very, very soon. As you can see, there are no delays in terms of the racing action, so we should be underway without any drama, but it was so foggy this morning. When we woke up, we looked out and we thought, oh geez, this is going to be a bit of a tough day. We should be getting a little look at what happened in qualifying yesterday. Much better conditions, sunny conditions for Senna Aegis' pole position. Senna Aegis on pole position once again. Another record for him in terms of pole positions. He's right up there now with the likes of Edgar Pons and Carmelo Morales in terms of consecutive poles that he's taken part in. Of course, he didn't last time out at Barcelona. Here is the 81 working his way down the back straight. Aragon is going to be alive and kicking today. If Senna Aegis, he's already got his move up to the Moto2 World Championship for next year sorted out. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the qualifying review.
The day was really good. This morning, I don't feel like I put everything quite together. You could see in my ideal lap versus my fast lap didn't quite add up, and in the afternoon I felt quite confident to put it together, even with slightly worse track conditions. So feeling quite proud about that, and really proud of the job that my crew have done this weekend to find this extra bit that we have found today. I'm feeling confident for the race, good start, and make my rhythm and control the gap, hopefully to the next ones, and yeah, hopefully we can finish the job on Sunday.
1:52.680. That would have been a lap time good enough for 11th on the grid in last year's Moto2 race. We just saw Leon Camier there giving a helping hand. Camier is here, the Team HRC World Superbike Team Manager. He's, you could say, an assistant to Senna Aegis. He has been in more or less all of the races this year that haven't clashed with the Superbikes, and he's been important in Senna's success. They get on very well, and that's proven with the success that Senna's had this year and his next steps going forward for the 2024 season.
Yeah, and what a mentor to have in your camp as well, the amount of experience that Camier has had, to be able to give that on to Senna is, you know, a massive addition to his team. Jari Ruiz then, second on the grid. He's had a pretty decent showing this year so far and has looked really good throughout practice. Has stepped on the podium already this year, but can he go one better here in Aragon? We'll find out very soon. Like we said, was looking very strong in practice, but no one's quite seems to have the pace that Senna's got. No,
and Senna, we were looking out on track yesterday. We were out on the service roads, and Senna looks good. You know, he's really looking neat and tidy on the bike. Not just that, we went through his chrono at the end of the day, and he has got race pace. He can drop into the 52s at a moment's notice. No one else is really getting near him. Jari Ruiz, very good so far, but just missing that something to let him go with Senna. This is Xavi Cardelus, lines up on the second row, in front of the second row. Cardelus, what can we say? 4 podiums in the last 4 races, 5 in the last 7. First win in his home round, if you can call it, in Catalonia, back in Barcelona 2.5 months ago. Has a mathematical chance of the title. He is Senna's major title rival going into this round.
Yeah, was really strong last time out in Barcelona. Of course, there wasn't any Senna Aegis there after he had a big crash and broke a couple of bones in his hand. But yeah, was looking really strong last time out. Got his first win in the championship since being involved in the class since 2015, and will be a force to be reckoned with here as well.
Niccolo Antonelli, familiar name from the Moto3 World Championship, multiple winner there, of course. Yet to work that magic here, though. He's had a very tough run. I suppose the most Niccolo Antonelli thing that could be would be 3 DNFs in the last 3 races.
Yeah, it showed glimpses of really strong pace back at Barcelona, but then just when it got to the race day, when it got to the point where it mattered, he just seemed to crumble a little bit, drop back through the pack, had a couple of crashes, and that was that, unfortunately, for the Italian. But we'll see what he can do here this weekend. Of course, has proven that he can go on and do big things over at the world stage. See what he can do here as well. Of course, also raced over in the Moto2 World Championship, didn't score any points. 6th place on the grid then, the number 54, Ferrandez.
Ferrandez in 6th place there. This will be his first time, I think, actually, in the class, in the Moto2. We've seen him elsewhere in ETC, of course, also in JuniorGP, but now he's on the big bike. We've seen the likes of Roberto Garcia make that step within that team. That team, of course, the sporting director is Ramon Forcada, so plenty of experience there. As we go through the grid, this is Unai Radre. Now, he had a very successful time last time out, Tristan. A victory, he's had 2 podiums. He is only 9th in the championship, doesn't tell the full story, though. He's coming to form now.
Really starting to take to that Moto2 machine now. Has jumped up to the 600, and like I say, really finding his raw form, really finding his feet. The very competitive runner back in the World Supersport 300 Championship as well, but now, like we say, coming really strong on that Moto2 machine. Took his first victory last time out. Took his first podium as well in race 1, and then his first victory in race 2. So he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with here. We were watching him in practice yesterday, and he was trying all he could to stay onto the rear wheel of Senna. Couldn't quite manage it, but I mean, at the moment, who can? But it's definitely got a very good marker in his teammate.
Peter Biszakierski, the Polish rider. Now, he has got Moto2 World Championship experience, of course. The Pole looking good, 3 top 10s in the last 3 races. Difficult start to 2023. Finally finding his feet, even if it is a little too late. But with 3 rounds to go, maybe he'll still have a say in the outcome of his season, because for sure what we see in the stats does not reflect the potential that could have been.
Yeah, 100%. He missed the opening 2 rounds and then did come back at Jerez and scored 14th place despite a crash as well. Finished 6th back at Portimao, which was his best result of the season. So he's coming along strong. So we'll see what he can do here this weekend at Aragon. Looked decent as well through practice. Was having a little look through his sector times, through his lap times. Pretty consistent on board that machine as well.
Here we have Roberto Garcia now. He has made the step up a couple of times now to this class, and as you can see, his form up until Catalunya at least was pretty good, always inside the top 6. Can he get a podium like he did back at Portimao? That, of course, coming in Portugal 3 months ago, so a lot of time away from the bike, but Garcia's a class act. He knows how to put himself in contention. Yeah,
and back at Barcelona, he was very racy. Elbows out, unfortunately, crashed out in race 2, but was really getting his elbows out, looked really strong, and definitely will be one to be keeping an eye out here. He'll definitely be looking to try and carve his way through this grid.
Francesco Mongiardo, the Italian, 10th on the grid. Not a bad run form for him in qualifying. He had a small tip-off, though, later on in, I think it was qualifying 1, but bounced back top 10 on the grid. Not bad for Mongiardo. He'll be looking to try and convert that into something pretty spectacular when the lights go out. We're just looking now. We should be clearing the grid very soon. Senna Aegis is your pole man. He can't be champion here, but he can put a good hand on it going into race 2 later on today. Will he convert pole in race 1? The grid is clearing, the sun is finally coming out. MotorLand Aragon is alive to the sound of JuniorGP, and we kick off in Moto 2. Senna Aegis for Australia on pole ahead of the Spaniard Yeroid, Alberto Sura, the 67, completing that front row. 4 different nationalities inside the top 4. Xavi Cardaluz heads row 2. As we flip over the page, shout out to Romanian Hozjuk in 11th place. He'll be looking to try and get right up the order there. And try and get a career best as well. All the way down the order, Shannon, into Charles Aubrey down there. Harrison Voigt down in 20th. Now expect him to come through, along with Sam Wilford and Mattia Ratto, both the AGR team riders, looking to try and do something about that back of the grid start. Kyle Path likewise. Kika Giles, Tristan Finocchiaro bringing you the action. This is the first of 6 races on today's billing. We have got an absolute packed schedule, and we're already off and running. Some talking points to get us underway on this warm-up lap as everyone gets up to speed, including us. Senna Aegis on his way to the Moto 2 World Championship. He's dominated this season so far. The points gap doesn't reflect the domination that Senna's had, Tristan, and you've got to think as they make their way up through the first 2 sectors of this MotorLand Aragon lap, that is a great addition in the World Championship. Of course, he's got experience there anyway in a couple of wildcard and replacement rides.
Yeah, like you say, the gap in the championship doesn't reflect it at all, of course. Could have wrapped up the championship last time out in Barcelona, but didn't due to that crash and that injury. Has spent some time already over in the World Championship, a little bit of time with Mark VDS, a little bit of time with the Husqvarna squad as well. Back at, he scored a few, well, he scored one point scoring finish back in 2022 over at the world stage, which was a 9th place. This season his best result's been 19th, so we'll see what he can do next season. But yeah, absolutely dominated this category this year. Looked so strong yesterday in practice. We saw he was able to do things with that bike that the other riders just simply weren't doing. So he'll definitely be a good addition to the world stage next year.
When we were out on track yesterday, Tristan, it was a bit warmer. It's only 22 degrees air temperature. Now that, for MotorLand Aragon, normally in October, is very nice. This weekend, it's the coolest we've had, really. I mean, we've had a couple of delays due to fog anyway, but 22 degrees air temperature. When they were out on track yesterday, around an hour later from where they are now, which was in the first session, they had about 30 degrees, so an 8-degree difference. And we did see in the cooler conditions anyway that Senna doesn't quite have the advantage he does have against the others, as opposed to when it's hot and the temperatures come up. Just a quick nod to your championship standings. It is Aegis and Cardaluz at the top, 20 points of difference. Cardaluz eating into Aegis' advantage last time out of Barcelona, courtesy of the Australians' absence. and really they are the only two mathematically, well, they're the only two realistically in it mathematically. Of course, Alberto Sura can still get there. Tristan, final thoughts from you before we go lights out on the opening lap. Who's your predictions? I think I have a safe idea of where you're going.
It's a safe bet in Senna Aegis. Looking through his lap times, was able to pull out 53s when he wanted and then pull out a 52 when he needed to as well. So we'll have to put money on him. But if anyone is going to get anywhere near him, they're going to have to get ahead of him and really upset his rhythm.
You're an ex-racer yourself as well, Tristan. If I could just get another question wedged in. What about ruffling feathers early on? Do you think that could distract Senna, or do you think
it's the only choice they have? It's the only choice. Ruiz is going to have to get underneath him at turn 1, if not turn 1 as soon as he can. And like you say, ruffle his feathers and unsettle him.
Well, we are ready then for the first race of the day. This is going to be a belter. Will Senna Aegis not just convert pole position? Will he get one hand firmly on the title? We are going lights out already. They didn't hold him very long. Senna Aegis gets a flyer. He's going to take the whole shot. Is he? Yes. Gets over the nose of Jero Ruiz. So Senna Aegis leads through the first turn. Everyone's safely through. Careful on the cold side of the tyre through this right-hander at turn 2. Now up to turn 3. Senna Aegis, he had a moment there on the curb, but he's all okay. Senna Aegis leads the way ahead of Jero Ruiz. Third place, that looked like a very fast start for Alberto Ferrandez. So Ferrandez has got an absolute corker going on lap 1.
Yeah, the top 2 as well. Reactions off the lights. As soon as those lights were out, the clutch was out and they were away. So perfect start for Aegis, perfect start for Ruiz. Harrison Voigt trying to make a few moves there a little bit further back as well. Keep an eye on, he'll be climbing his way up and through. He hasn't broken them just yet.
Sorry, in the background, Peter Bishakurski had his hand up. I think the pole is out of this race. Peter Bishakurski, the 74. He is stopped, as you can see at the top of your shot as they go through the corkscrew. So Bishakurski is out, and there's a change to third as well. It looks like Garcia has come through on Ferrandez. Ferrandez then back to 4th after that initial good launch. Turn 12, pinch point number 2 on this track on the opening lap, but Senna Aegis cool, calm and collected so far. Jero Ruiz trying to go with him, but it is going to be a big effort, you think, from Ruiz. The Senna Aegis leads him through 14 and then into 15, and that massive long back straight as
Ruiz here, he did it a couple of corners back as well. It's just running in a little bit too hot on corner entry, trying to make up a little bit of time on Senna, and he's in fact losing time. He's running in a little bit too hot and then running wide on the exit. The more he does that, the more Senna's going to pull away. Roberto Garcia's now put his way up into 3rd as well, so keep an eye out for him. He was really getting his elbows out back at Barcelona.
Just in the background as well, Xavi Cardaluz was coming through, I think, on Toledo. Cardaluz from 4th on the grid has completely wasted that top 4 on the grid. He's down to 7. Shaking the head there from Jero Ruiz. I think he knows that first lap probably wasn't the best one.
Well, he's again there really hot down into turn 1, and if he keeps doing that, well, he actually managed to pull it to the apex that time, so he proved me wrong.
He did well to put it down to the apex. Looked like he was just going to go on and miss it. Just in the background, I think Cardaluz is still trying to deal with Toledo ahead of him. Oh no, I think he has got him. In the background, I think Cardaluz is now up into 6th place. Shout out in 5th, we didn't get there. Unai Aradre, winner from last time out in Barcelona. Good start from him. We've got I won't say a breakaway group of 5, but the front 5 are definitely putting time into Cardaluz in 6th.
Yeah, definitely, these guys, and that's, I'm assuming that'll be Bishakurski that's coming. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so an early end to the race for the number 74. Not the way he wanted to start his Sunday here at Aragon.
But he gets race 2 later on.
Yeah,
so it's not a total loss just yet. Coming through turn 10, the Marc Marquez corner. I tell you what, digging
he's going
deep.
with him. Yeah,
Jero Ruiz is definitely digging deep here. You've got to think that if he gets within half a chance, he's got to have a go, because it's a good opportunity to get back on the podium for the 2nd time this season, and also try and nab a first win and be one of the very few riders who've been able to beat Senna Aegis in a head-to-head scrap, not just this year, but over the last 2 years. Obviously, Lukas Tulovic managed to do it over the course of a season last year when Senna was still getting up to speed at the start of it. But Tulovic had his hands full in the latter part of it. Slipstream City, then all the way down to turn 16 and 17. It's really one corner. I do not know why it's 2 corners on a track map, but 16 and 17. Ruiz there, but just can't make an impression on Senna at the moment as they come through this long left-hander, left, all the way from turn 15 down the straight and through the final 2 corners. There's nothing between them. It was 0.2 of a second across the line. You don't need to see, you don't need to know it's 0.2 of a second. You can see it's nothing.
Ruiz so strong on the brakes into turn 1. If there's anywhere he's got anything on Aegis, it's there. Let's have a little look off the side. Ooh, a little jump start there for Ruiz. I'm not sure if he went just before the lights went out. Let's have a look. Yeah, he does.
Oh.
Stops and goes again, so that'll be one to keep an eye on.
That is very strange.
Oh,
but
he's got it lit up a little bit. There was nothing he could have done there, really. A little bit of brake, had the clutch out a little bit too much. Rear wheel span up and pushed him forward a little bit. Just unfortunate. It can happen. Didn't really gain much of an advantage from it, but technically it would be a jump start.
Let's see what they say. Obviously, we're seeing that for a reason. Race direction. Well, race direction might be thanking us. You never know. So
Fastest lap now to Ruiz.
Yeah, good. I tell you what, it'd be a shame if Ruiz gets a penalty for that, because we've got a bit of a race on at the front of this here at MotorLand Aragon. So as we said in the build-up on the warm-up lap, Senna just doesn't have that clear-cut advantage over one lap like he does in the hotter conditions. Hopefully we'll see that later on in race 2. The field, some riders could definitely go with him in the colder conditions, the cooler conditions. Ruiz one of them, but let's see what happens with Ruiz about that, because it was unfortunate, obviously, and he doesn't mean to do it, but in the eyes of the rule book, that could be a penalty coming his way. These two have definitely gapped the rest of the field, though. They are the best part of 2.5 seconds clear of Roberto Garcia in third, Alberto Ferrandez in fourth place, and we have got jump starts. Rider 21 and 72, so the 72 is Ruiz, 21 is Eduardo Montero down in 18th place. So double long lap penalty. Sliding through goes Ferrandez. He slides on wide as well. Through comes Garcia, who's
lighting it up on the exit.
Ask for the power. Up over the top of the hill. Garcia holds on to third. Ferrandez, he's young and hungry. He wants to get that position if he can. Yero Ruiz then, a double long lap penalty. Just not what he needed.
Just as we thought we were going to have a race on our hands between these two at the front, unfortunately, that might just spoil the party for Ruiz. But just as we say that anyway, Aegis is starting to pull away from the Spaniard then, so number 72 will have to go 2 times through that long lap loop, which we're hoping is going to make him even hungrier for race 2 later on. And if he can replicate what he's doing here and try and stay on the rear wheel of Senna, obviously now Senna is pulling away out the front here, but that battle for third place is really hotting up as well. Ferrandez, Garcia, Oradre is just behind them. Oradre and Cardelus, both of them, neither of them shy of getting their elbows out.
I should just say, on that replay, we was also missing a third place on the grid. That's Alberto Sura. Now, we don't know why. We haven't had anything in our ears about why that could be, but he is on track. He's 2 laps down, so I don't know if he's started late from a pit lane. He's had a mechanical.
That'll be an exit or something.
Yeah, that'll be something to chase up in between the races. But Alberto Sura then, from that hard-earned front row, all undone in race 1 at least. So Sura on the Team Chiatti Boscoscuro has got work to do. Long lap penalty still to do, of course, for the rider in second place, Yaro Ruiz. He didn't come through on that lap. I think if it's 2 laps, if you get 2 long laps, you've got to serve them both within 5. I'm thinking a 5-lap window from where the penalty is issued. So we should be doing them really before 8-9 laps to go.
Yeah, this is exactly what we saw in practice, looking through the times, inch perfect, sliding his way through the final corner as well. Every lap, more or less, 53. 53 flat was his last lap, 53.1 was his lap just gone. Able to just put the hammer down, so consistent out the front, and he's broken Ruiz now. But this battle, have a look at this. Ferrandez, Garcia, Oradre, Cardelus in there. All riders that we've seen, well, Ferrandez we've only just now seen in the Moto2 category, but in the past we've seen him get his elbows out in other categories. Garcia not shy of a move, neither is Oradre, neither is Cardelus. So this battle really could go anyway.
Ferrandez has had podiums in ETC and JuniorGP last year. He was a CIV pre-Moto3 champion back in 2021. And, of course, he's been a regular fixture. Ooh, he's not troubling any apex there, though. He's been a regular fixture in this paddock, but this is his first time on Moto2 machinery. The 16-year-old, he is only 16, he is so young, and to be straight, now that's the penalty for, one of the penalties for Ruiz. 16 years old, though, for Ferrandez. Already mixing it right up the front, so good to see. Now, that battle that is for third will be the battle for second when the second penalty comes around for Ruiz. Now, Ruiz, he lost about 3 seconds there, so he should slot in more or less at the back of that group. It is a long lap here, but also you can keep the power on through that long lap and rejoin quite well. So we'll see how it goes, but Ruiz, any chance of victory in this race, bar an act of God out front for Senna Aegis, looks like it's gone begging.
Yeah, a bit less of a loop this long lap, a bit more of a where you sort of turn into it and then you can fire it out sort of thing. So it's a little bit easier than other long laps. But you can see how much time he's lost because of it. Part of that, of course, is as well Aegis just being absolutely in a league of his own out the front. These guys at the moment, as you were, 11 laps, well, 10 laps when they come to cross the line still to go, but it's not going to stay like this.
No, I mean, if you're new to JuniorGP, don't expect this to be diluted out by the end of this. Getting a run
on cue.
Yeah, getting a run, Garcia. Whoa, dear me.
Very close.
Yeah, if he wants to ride for the team, he can do that in an office somewhere, surely, and have the discussion there instead of trying to headbutt the back of the Ferrandis 54. Garcia then on. Oh, that is Ruiz. Yeah, we're big off at turn 2. So he won't serve his second long lap penalty because he's out of action altogether. So this does become the battle for second. Deary me, that's a big old cloud of dust down there at turn 2. Yeah, Ruiz. Good to see he's up on his feet, but what an enormous crash that must have been. We'll hopefully see it. Ruiz is up on his feet. He is all okay. That bike is going to need working on before race 2, though. So Ruiz won't serve his second long lap. He might have to, though, for the second race later on. We'll wait and see what they say. I mean, he's served an ultimate penalty now. So, and that is what we've seen. Senna Aegis has got pace, and if you're going to go with him, be ready to push. And Ruiz has pushed it too hard there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was trying to catch Aegis after going through that long lap. I mean, let's have a little look at where we can't. I think he's just ahead of the shot, unfortunately. But that corner, first one on the right-hand side of the tyre, really easy to go down there. I've done it myself on a 300. You just flick it over onto the right, and it's quite a hard flick as well. It's uphill, really easy for the front end to wash out, and that's probably, I'm assuming, exactly what's happened there for Ruiz.
I must say though, Tristan, it looked like he lost it very late on in the corner.
Yeah.
That bike's ended up a long way round turn 2.
Yeah, so could possibly have been a rear end moment on the power pop, perhaps it slid out from underneath him, a low side there for Ruiz, but obviously we didn't quite see it, but yeah.
Well, good news is that he's okay. Bad news is that the team's lunch break will be well shortened for that now. At the front, or the battle for second, the 54 of Alberto Ferrandis is still keeping Marco Garcia at bay. 4th place for Radre, 5th, and we've got to get there. We haven't really got there yet, is Xavi Cardaluz. Now, where he is now, he's 20 points back of Aegis in the championship, 25 points for a race win, the same as it is in the Junior World Championship. Marshall's still there getting Ruiz's bike out of the way at the bottom of the shot there, but thankfully, I think it's all cleared. You've got Cardaluz at the moment, 5th. That will be 11 points. The gap will go up to 34, which does mean, if it was to stay like that, that Senna Aegis can have a podium finish later, and he will be crowned champion for 2023. Of course, 9 laps to go and a full race to go just yet. And Cardaluz, let's go for battle for 3rd at the moment. Radre,
and keep an eye on Harrison Voigt here. He's been catching these guys. He's came up through 20th place on the grid, I think it was. And now he's all on this battle for the podium. Gomez as well, the number 12, he's on the back of this group. He wasn't before, so he's caught this group as well. And you can't say it's because these guys have been scrapping it out, because it's been pretty much as you were for the majority of this. So they've done that on outright pace. Radre wide there.
Radre wide, but I was looking at Ferrandis. He had the rear end of that bike on a hinge. He was absolutely backing it in, and we saw him backing it in actually round here yesterday. So Ferrandis looking really at home. He's a big, tall rider anyway. We've said for a couple of rounds, actually, a couple of years really, that he needs to move up. He's so tall, Alberto Ferrandis. So on a Moto2 bike, and of course these guys are all on the Triumph 765, so they are aligned with the Moto2 World Champ specs. Ferrandis really, in his first round, is doing some giant killing at the moment, doing very, very well. With Roberto Garcia, he's had a very similar... Whoa, surely!
You can't do that, can you?
17, he got it absolutely under him, but he didn't get it done. That will have cost him some drive maybe down the straight.
He's strong into turn 1, he has been every lap, and he makes the move stick. A little bit leery on the brakes, sits him up. And that's exactly how you do it. Block pass, executed perfectly there for the number 31.
Top job, but he got that lined up out of 17. I honestly didn't think he was going to make the move at 17. I thought he'd cost himself down the straight, but good on the brakes. A 31 then takes over. Radre! Goodness me. And he's going to be pushed out wide there at turn 5. The classic Aragon move. up and under at 4, out wide and over at 5.
Cardelus wants to capitalise as well.
Cardelus has to capitalise. He's got to get through. So Cardelus in 5th, as we say at the moment, with 8 laps and a full race to go later, of course, is still 34 points adrift if you put the checkered flag out now. Up the inside. Oh, dear me. He's got the number 12 of Gomez under it. That's another place lost for Cardelus. Cardelus, well, that would be 35 points different if you put the flag out now. Harrison Voigt is hungry, and next up there, Harrison Voigt coming up from row 8 on the grid, I think it was, 7 on the grid it was, from 20th, as you said. Replay of the pass, Tristan, we'll get to that later, here we go.
Yeah, he's done that absolutely perfectly. Parked it up the inside of him, just squeezed a little bit too much on the brakes there, but he's managed to stop it right at the right time, put himself on the apex. There was nowhere for Ferrandez to be able to cut underneath him, and he was ahead of him before turn 2, so perfectly executed there. And he looks like he's got pace here. He's starting to stretch him out a little bit. We'll keep an eye on the lap times when they come across the line.
What has happened to Cardelus?
Cardelus, something's happened here.
He's not just dropped off, he's gone right to the back.
They've dropped behind Antonelli.
I tell you what, I wonder if there's just been a bit of shenanigans down into turn 12 then, because this group of what was 7 is now a group of 4. Harrison Voigt is not in it, neither is Cardelus, and Antonelli's ahead of them. So I wonder if there's been a little bit of argy-bargy down at turn 12. Cardelus then, disaster this. This is down in 7th. It's through on the inside, trying to push his way through. Arajay's going to have the inside. Gomez is going to have to try and cut under him on the exit. Don't think he's going to be able to. We picked him up now. He's still having a look, but he still can't get it done. So Arajay holds on for 4th place, trying to look to join the podium battle. Again, he was, of course, our winner last time out in Barcelona some 2.5 months ago. But he's right there now. Ferrandez hasn't been dropped just yet. You can tell that Garcia's pushing. Oh, and in the pit lane. Who is that? That's Voigt. That's Harrison Voigt. According to our timing monitor, that's Harrison Voigt. So there must have been some contact then or something.
Something's gone on, yeah. We've missed something big there.
Never mind. Let's get back to the battle at the front. We might see a replay, of course, later on or in the highlights at the end of the show. This is the battle. I wouldn't say this is what wide old line there for Garcia. This isn't really about for second. This is the lead battle for second, but it's not. Yeah, the 3rd and 4th riders in this group, 4th and 5th on track. It is about for 4th. And Andrew trying to close up in Ferrandez though. Ferrandez thinks it's a new experience for him, Tristan, as well. He won't have done a full Moto2 race distance in race trim with riders around him on track, also in race trim. So this is new territory for him. What's he going to be thinking at the moment?
Very different. It's a lot more physical, obviously. On a 600, you're dealing with a lot more forces. Obviously, the speed's a lot higher as well. There's a lot more to think about as well, whereas on a Moto3 and on an ETC bike, tyre wear doesn't really come into it. I mean, it can a little bit, but it's not really a big factor. On these bikes, tyre wear is something that he's going to, tyre management is something that he's going to have to be learning. Obviously, he'll have been practicing it through free practice, but these guys, they've done it in a race scenario. They've done it when the pressure's on, when the adrenaline's a little bit higher, and when you're trying to push that little bit more, and they've got that extra little bit of experience over him. But he's holding his own really, really well. Garcia put the hammer down a couple of laps ago, was half a second quicker than him, but he's responded now. Radre now pushing his way to ahead of the number 54 as well.
So Ferrandez, as this race wears on, just coming under a little bit more pressure, but he's sticking in there at the moment. Radre's got good pace anyway, he's been in this like middle class racing for a little while now. Ramon Forcada there, 3rd from left in the white shirt, looking on. Ferrandez, obviously, Forcada has got experience in tons in terms of young rider nurturing and development. He was right by Jorge Lorenzo for so many years, of course. Forcada, a man with much knowledge and is a real asset in that Finetwork outfit. At the front though, as you can see, Garcia and Radre now just putting some time into Ferrandez, who is coming under more and more and more pressure. Borja Gomez is going to have a look on the inside. I think Ferrandez is just going to drop it over his nose. Let's see. Yes, he does. So Ferrandez, that wide sweeping line, that's a bit of a lightweight class line to just sweep over, but it works on these Moto2 machines. Ferrandez looking very, very good. These 4, good race for them so far. I wish we could have had an onboard though at some point. It would have been very interesting early on. Look at the lead that Senna Aegis has got. That is why an 11-second lead gets you to the Moto2 World Championship for real in 24.
He's done exactly what he's needed to do this year, completely dominated out the front, and he's doing it again here this weekend, showing absolutely what he's made of, and that's what secured him that ride at World Championship next year. These guys fighting themselves for a World Championship ride, trying to show what they're capable of doing, and a lot of teams will be noticing Ferrandez in his first weekend in this category, battling with boys who have already been on the podium in the past. Oradre all over the rear wheel of Garcia now, and if you did watch the races back from Barcelona, you'll know Oradre is going to have a go. He was so strong on the final lap back at Barcelona. Keeps a little bit in reserve, keeps a little bit in the tank, and there it is, a move is made. But is Garcia going to bite back? No room through this time round, although he did have a little cheeky look.
I tell you what, he's close at the front of Oradre.
Gomez as well.
Oh, Gomez does get through, and he didn't leave Ferrandez much room at all at turn 6 as well. I think he got it done really at turn 5, but consolidated it at turn 6. But Oradre up into P2 then. It is Aegis of Oradre, 12 seconds between in mind. Oradre ahead of Garcia. Garcia to 31, just ahead of teammate Gomez, and then Ferrandez, who was in second for so long in this group, still trying to work it out with that Moto2 machine. He's in a fine 5th. Antonelli in 6th. That's 2 seconds back at Ferrandez. If Antonelli can get a march
he's on a charge at the moment. He was 54.2 on the last lap for him. These boys are doing 54.6s and 7s. So he has clawed in a little bit of a gap on that last lap, and I'm looking through his sector times as well. And it looks as if he's bringing them in a little bit on this lap as well. Perhaps lost a little bit in that last sector though.
He needs a finish, does Antonelli. The last 3 races, nothing to show for it at all. No points. Oh, Ferrandez got that lit up on the curb there, just dropped over the other side of the serration. Ferrandez pushing to try and stay with him. Oradre on the white line on the inside. Oradre doing everything he can. Next is the battle we were talking about. This is the rider we're talking about, Antonelli, charging through. We're looking at card loose because as it stands, the gap in the championship goes to 36, and that is just over the other side of the precipice in terms of it being in Cardalus's hands to take it to the showdown in Valencia. Cardalus, we've seen it so many times, when the lights go out, when the races get underway, for whatever reason, the pace that we see in free practice, the pace that we see in qualified doesn't translate. This is his main championship rival. This is the championship leader, and arguably since the start of the year, Tristan, the championship favourite. He was good last year, and he's looking very good this year, especially here with a 12-second lead.
Yeah, won 5 out of the first 6 races this year, and the only time he hadn't finished on the top step was at Jerez, where he finished 3rd. Obviously, no points scored back at Barcelona after that big crash during free practice saw him sit out the weekend. But now he's back on the bike, and he's back to exactly where he was before. He has had a good bit of track time over at the world stage as well, but now, back exactly where he was, and proving that he can do the business day in, day out here in JuniorGP, and it is the right time for him to step up to the World Championship. Once he's sealed this championship, assuming that he does, he's done everything. He's got everything he needs to get out of this championship. No unfinished business for him, and it's time to move on.
So many riders have done it before. We've got especially younger riders.
They're not even in the picture. They haven't even turned up yet. There they are.
Incredible. And Oradre is no slouch either. He's had decent results.
The full length of the back straight is the gap.
That's a long back straight. And it's particularly long when you've got so much space in front of you like these guys have. It'd be demoralising that Aegis is so far up the road, 13 seconds. Aegis has been dominant this year. I don't think we've seen quite this level of dominance, but Aegis going well at Aragon. We knew he would anyway. He's turned up to everywhere this year and done pretty well. But so many riders before him have come from this class back into Moto2. Tulovic last year, but of course had a bit of Moto2 experience, refined his craft in this class. Then before Fermin Aldeguer, Alonso Lopez, there's been plenty of riders that have come through. Jari Montella was the one who didn't quite make it work in Moto2 in the World Championship, despite his success here, but has found decent form in World Supersport podium finisher more or less, or podium contender more or less each weekend. Back at this battle, Oradre just missed that apex there at turn 4, gets it nailed down for turn 5, but Roberto Garcia is going to be seeing that and thinking, well, there's hope yet with 2.5 laps to go.
No, definitely, and Aegis, look at him through turn 1, so relaxed on the bike. You look at his arms, that it almost looks as if he's not even trying. So relaxed. So smooth through turn 1 as well. We were watching him yesterday and we were saying he rides it like a Moto3. He was getting in the tuck right here, actually, where they are on circuit, way before anyone else was even, everyone else was sort of elbows out, hanging off the side of the bike. He was fully tucked in as if he was on a Moto3 bike. So really strong at the front.
But tucked in.
53.4 was his last lap. His fastest lap, a 53.0 across, or it's only 3 laps remaining. He's kept that pace consistently, a second quicker than anyone else.
It's incredible. And you say about his style, he's tucked in, but not tense. There's a difference between being tucked in and tense and not looking at one with the bike. It's just his style, but he looks so relaxed, so at one with the bike, and you know that's why he's got 14. It's going up by half a second, a sector at this rate. A lap ago, the gap was 12 seconds when they came through here. It's 13.9. Deary me, all the 98 has gone down. We've just had that Shannon Inter on the SF Racing machine. So Shannon Inter, the tie rider, has gone down. Rider, okay, this is at turn 3. Are we going to see it now?
I think Garcia was lining up a move there, so we'll see when we get back on it whether he's made that stick or not. But that is so easy to do.
And fast.
Perhaps a little bit too much of, perhaps on the white line or the curb there, but yeah, so easy to do that. Front washes away, nothing you can do about it. Happens so quickly, you're in the gravel trap before you know it. Aegis out the front, then superfluous little bit of curb on the inside of turn 6 there, and his lines, he's hitting every single marker. I mean, we haven't seen much of him because he's been so far out the front, but it doesn't look like he's made a single mistake. Oh, Garcia sideways through there.
Oh, the difference in shot. The TV director now obviously a bit bored with watching Aegis go around. I wonder why. Look what he could be watching. Aradre, second, third for Garcia. It's still raging, and those three. Fernandez could be looking at a podium here, even though he's second back in 5th. These two are going to be knocking spots off each other, the two Fantic boys. These are the Leglise team. That's Aradre's crew. 27 titles in the CV category of many years ago. Now, obviously, the JuniorGP category. Aradre doing the business so far, but Aradre looks like he's on the defence now. Suddenly not taking the wide sweeping lines in, parking it a little bit in the middle of the corner. All moment as well, don't be doing that.
Perhaps lost a little bit of rear grip now as we're coming to the end of this, and Garcia really wants to be getting past him. You can see on the exit of every corner, Garcia's got a tiny little bit in hand, although he's pulled away from him ever so slightly there. But keep an eye on Garcia on the exit of the last corner. We've seen how strong he is, although he's coming under pressure here now from Borja Gomez, who's having a little look up the inside. Garcia, Aegis comes to start the final lap. Keep an eye on Garcia on the exit of this final corner. Then is he going to line one up into turn 1 like we saw him do earlier on in the race? He's so strong on the exit, gets it hooked up on the exit. A bit too much that time, a little bit too much, yeah.
He got it hooked up, and we stood up there as through comes the number 12 of Gomez, and he slots it through. So that's the first change. He runs wide. The two Fantic boys are going head to head here. Careful, don't ruin it altogether for the team. They'd like one, preferably 2 bikes on the podium, not both in the gravel. We're coming through turn 3. Aradre wide again, and he's right out to the curb. He's been wide in turn 4 a couple of times. Didn't see it that time around. But Aradre, he's going to have to ride the last. He's wide everywhere.
He's struggling.
Turn 5 there. This is turn 6. Impossible to be wide through there. Turn 7 is an opportunity for Gomez. Is he sending it? Yes, he is.
He's up the inside.
Oh, wipe his nose.
He was very wide there, was Aradre. The door was left open, but I don't think Gomez could quite get it stopped either. Perhaps got sucked in a little bit there by the number 10. Trying to run really late, really defensive through the corkscrew as well, but I'd be very surprised if anyone did try a move through there.
Where's it going to be, Tristan? We've not got many opportunities left. Slipstream's a possibility, but you're looking at turn 12 coming up.
Yeah, down into turn 12 is definitely an opportunity for these guys. Not looking, doesn't look like they're looking to the inside this time, although it's just as I say that, he darts to the inside line, parks it up the inside of Aradre.
Through comes Garcia. Is he Garcia? Yes. It's a Fantic 1-2. Now they swap positions as well. Garcia's through on his teammate Gomez. Gomez drops over his nose. Team manager's having kittens. Aradre's wanting to get back in on the action. So, Slipstream City then, out of turn 15 we go for the final time. The gloves have come off in Moto2.
Garcia's got the Slipstream here.
Garcia to the inside. 2-man Slipstream. Aegis has crossed the line. The cameraman can't even keep up with him. Down into the parabolic at turn 16 and 17. What's going to happen? Aradre's gone wide totally. He must have had an attempt at something. Who is in front? It looks like it is the number 31 of Garcia, who holds on to take top dog honours within Finetwork Racing. 12 of Gomez takes the 3rd place. Aradre, he held on for dear life on that last lap. It wasn't enough, misses the podium in the end. 5th for Ferrandez, a fine ride on his Moto2 debut. Cardelus, championship, massive damage done there for the Andorran. He's in 6th. Antonelli was pipped by Cardelus actually in the closing stages of that. 7th for him. Mongiardo up from 10th to 8th place on the Porsche Oscuro. Volpe from the back of the grid up in 9th. That's a fine ride from him. And Toledo on the MMR in 10th. Tristan, Aegis, masterclass.
Absolute masterclass. Fastest lap of the race was a 53.0. On the last lap, 53.6. So lost 0.6 of a second with all the tyre degradation from the first lap to the last lap. You can't really ask for any more from the number 81. And what a last lap there we had for that battle for second as well.
Fair play to Aegis. The Australian in good form all the way through. No, it would have been interesting to see that battle for what was second in the end. What it would have been if Yerry Ruiz hadn't have stacked it at turn 2. But he did, so it became a battle for second. Roberto Garcia, I tell you what, there's some young kids coming through this Moto2 class. You know, a lot of riders stay here for a long time and, you know, they don't quite make it back to Moto2 World Championship level. Haven't been there before, but there are some fast kids coming through. Senna Aegis is one of them, Garcia is another, Ferrandez in 5th place for certain another, Aradre with a full season on it. He's going to be good next year. But what about it? What a beautiful stand-up wheelie. Deary, there's Wheelie Wednesday sorted on the JuniorGP social channels. Of course, get involved with us, JuniorGP. We're on YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook. We're on everywhere. Enjoy the content. Instagram, of course, as well, the main one. Make sure you go and like, comment, subscribe, and never miss a beat of the 2023 JuniorGP Championship season and beyond. Meanwhile, not missing a beat in that entire race. Fantastic from Senna Aegis, who arrives in Parc Fermé. That is now a 36-point advantage in the championship. We'll take a full look at the championship standings a little later on, but a 36-point lead in the championship standings, it doesn't get much better with 2 races to go. We'll do the maths for you later on, but by my reckoning, a podium secures it for Senna Aegis, even if Xavi Cardelus does take victory, which he doesn't look like doing. Senna Aegis has been so dominant here this weekend. Fine ride for the Finetwork duo. They timed it to perfection. Roberto Garcia in 2nd position, Borja Gomez in 3rd. They were absolutely gloves off on that final lap. We might hopefully get a replay of the final corner. There's Troy Corser, from one Australian legend to another. Troy Corser there in the Vision Track outfit in Michael Lafferty's squad for this weekend, but nonetheless, a double world superbike champion Corser right there with Senna Aegis. Maybe from one generation to another, an Australian great of the past, possibly to an Australian great of the future. This is Roberto Garcia, 2nd for him. I think they're going to wait for the number 3 board to come out for 2nd and 3rd for the team. Finetwork Racing looking very, very good so far at MotorLand Aragon. I don't think Gomez is too aware of this actually at the moment, is he? And there we go, the pictures there, all the photographers get what they want. Fine scenes down in Parc Fermé. The opening race then, done and dusted in JuniorGP. At the penultimate round of the season, the sun is setting on the 2023 campaign, but by no means is the sun setting on Aragon. It's beating through. Gomez there, a fine 3rd position. Gomez has been a very solid rider in multiple disciplines throughout his career. Gomez, the Spaniard, we've seen him in World Supersport before, we've seen him here in Moto2. I can tell you though, that is his first podium in this Moto2 class. The 2021 Supersport 600 Spanish champion with 3 wins that season. He was runner-up in the 1,000 class a year later, but now a winner, now a podium finisher, for the first time in the Moto2 European World Championship. What's Senna Aegis saying here? Let's listen in.
now come back. I just can't.
Well, I think we're going to see a replay of the start, getting it spinning up on the front row. That's the 72 of Jero Ruiz. Didn't really gain him anything. In fact, it cost him ultimately in the end with a double long lap penalty. And with that long lap penalty, one lap was served before this happened. He pushed on just a bit too hard, and that really was it. And yeah, angry with yourself, as you would be. The bike there doesn't look too badly damaged, but that was the moment in the race where Jero Ruiz challenge to Aegis, and any challenge to Aegis kind of faded by the wayside. Aegis just so good at managing the pace. No one saw which way he went. The only time he put a wheel out of line was in the celebration zone down at turn 1. So Senna Aegis, it looks like he's going to be Moto2 World Champion and European Champion this year. He's down there with Tristan, who's talking to him. Senna Aegis, another winner.
Senna, another absolute masterclass, and now one hand on the title.
Yeah, that's right. Big thank you to my team this weekend. We've worked amazing to have a bike to do the long run in the race like that with the lap time so consistent. So yeah, I was just making my rhythm and treating it like a long run that we were doing yesterday, and it's happy that I could transfer that into today. So a bit unsure of the weather conditions this morning, and no, like you said, one end on the title. So of course the plans to wrap it up in the next one.
Ruiz was keeping you honest in those opening few laps. Did you know he was there?
Yeah, I was a bit, not asleep on the first laps, but like a little bit nervous. I don't know why, and then I kind of let loose and just started putting my rhythm. But I seen him behind, and I see that he had a long lap, and then so after that I put my pace. So it'll be interesting. Also, we were missing Sura on the grid too, so this afternoon should be interesting.
Perfect. Well, best of luck for race 2, mate.
Thanks.
A fine ride by Senna Aegis. This is what happened then. Down into the final corner. Gomez at 12, 31 of Garcia, the 10 of Aradre. Surely not round the outside. Well, he tried. The chatter on the front of Aradre's number 10. Wow, that was absolutely bouncing through. It was like a kangaroo down into turn 16. And then coming out, Garcia just pulled the pin. Full chat to the line. He almost crashed it coming to the checkered stripe. Unbelievable scene then at the end of that. I'm glad we saw that because that just completes that final lap battle for Senna. All that breathless stuff. Tristan Finocchiaro has joined me back in the comms booth. Tristan, a great race to start the day. Not the usual chaos of ETC in Junior GP, but the podium ceremony here, Moto2, everyone on there deservedly so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had everything. We saw a dominant performance, which was incredible to see. Incredible to see how much consistently faster he was than the rest of the field. And how he was able to just keep those lap times almost the same all the way strong. And then what a battle we had for that second place at the end.
Fantastic stuff indeed. A quick recap on your podium. Senna Aegis, that's an 8th win for him as the Mayor of Alcanith, Miguel Angel Esteban, presents the trophy.
We're quite fond of Alcanith.
We are quite fond of Alcanith. It gets a bad rap. No idea why. Lovely historic town in the centre of Spain, completely untouristified. It's a real authentic throwback. Make sure you come next year when it's back on the MotoGP World Championship calendar. Second place for Roberto Garcia. He has been very, very good right the way through, and rightly so, takes a second podium and a career best of P2 as well. He's only got a third before. Now that was back in Portimao. Senna Aegis, the winner, like I say, that's his 8th win. And in third place, Borja Gomez with the first podium in the class. We should be getting the Australian national anthem now. I think it's here. A fantastic rendition of Advanced Australia Fair. Didn't quite like the remix at the start of that, I must admit, but nonetheless, obviously a couple of sound problems there. Apologies for that. Celebrations in full flow. You're not supposed to do it on the leathers on the opening race of the day. Have you watched any World Superbike action from the 90s and the early 2000s? 2 races in a day. You can't be doing that, Tristan.
Yeah, well, the amount of leathers, I'm sure you go into Senna Aegis' truck and there'll be rows and rows of leathers these days.
He's looking good, and it's celebrations all around. It is the end of the season coming up in the next few weeks. For now, the penultimate round of the 2023 Moto2 European Championship is underway. 1 race left for this class today. Senna Aegis on pole, 1 win under his belt. Will he double up come the end of it? Results then for the first race, race 9 of 11. In 2023, Aegis from Garcia, Gomez, Aradre and Fernandez. Australia on top from a pack of Spaniards. Xavi Cardalou, second in the title. He's got a mountain to climb if he's to stay in contention. Antonelli, Mongiardo and Mattia Volpi right from the back of the grid. Volpi, that is a fine ride to 9th. Completing the top 10, Alex Toledo, Jacobo Hozziuk, the Romanian. Good stuff from him in 11th. Ratto, Tapia, Gerard Riou and Britain's Sam Wilford, the big bad Wilf, up there in 15th place in your final point scoring position. Raychek, Sura, Channon into car powers, and then we got a few DNFs from Harrison Voigt, Gerard Ruiz, Charles Aubrey and Peter Bishakirski right from the start. Now, we should be checking out the championship standings. Here they are. Aegis, 35 points clear. So a podium does secure it later on today if he is to be crowned champion. Mattia Ratto, 3rd, and a distant 3rd, 29 points back of Cardalou. Sura, Garcia, Ruiz, Aradre, Toledo, and of course Carlos Tatai in 9th. Our best wishes go to Carlos Tatai. His recovery continues, and you can check out all the latest. Don't miss anything of that on his social media channels. Marco Tapia, Niccolo Antonelli, Sam Wilford, they're all covered by just 7 points. Volpi, Mongiardo, Riou, Voigt and Bishakirski. Voigt has had a much more successful season than a 29-point say. Juan Rodriguez, Carl Pathwar, Gomez, Alberto Ferrandez straight in with first points in his first race. A fine top 5. Hozziuk, Vugunek, the Croatian, Toth and Raychek completing out this page of the results. We got another one to come, I believe. Channon Inter, yes, the tie rider, Charles Aubrey and Eduardo Montero. That is your point scoring pages. Senna Aegis, fine form throughout 2023 thus far. It has continued at MotorLand Aragon. He now can be Moto2 champion in Junior GP in 2023 with a podium later on today. He's not succumbed to any pressure so far this year. It does shows no signs of it coming later on. Senna Aegis is in the driving seat to be the next star of the future before his imminent move up to the Moto2 World Championship for next year.